it's great having two computers because I just was able to use the other computer to process the video, which takes a while. So that can fluctuate that.
All right, we're up. Give it a few minutes. Get a little situated. No, 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 no. All right.
I got too much gray going here.
Yeah, you do have a lot of gray. Coop, you got a pretty squeaky chair over there, huh?
Yeah. It's actually the table. It's actually the table. I'm leaning on the table is why.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have a new table that I have to put in. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, is it picking? You hear that? You hear that tapping? Or
Nope.
no?
Nope.
My mic may not be picking. It may not be picking up.
I hear you good, but I don't hear you when you tap on the mic.
Well, the problem is the mic's not on.
Oh, so what am I getting you on your laptop mic?
Yeah, it was going on my laptop because you shouldn't hear
Oh,
it.
there
You
it
shouldn't
is.
hear
Yeah,
that.
you're right. How did I
Yeah,
not notice
yeah,
that?
yeah. Actually, it's
Boy.
good you said because the squeaky. This is really good headphones, so it should cancel that out.
Yeah.
I
I was gonna say I never heard that
was,
before.
No, when I've used this table is just to put the other table in. I have to reconfigure some stuff because it's a bigger table. So I'm gonna do that. We actually today I have a cigar room upstairs, which is my daughter's bedroom when she lived at home.
Mm-hmm.
And it's strictly like a storage area for cigars right now, in cabinets and in closets. And we went today and cleaned this thing out of stuff. Just rearranged it, stuff going to Cigars for Warriors and stuff like that. So,
Dude, between
like
all
that.
of my humidors, all of my whiskeys.
Well, you're gonna need room when you get to PCA.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the reason why I did it. And I have two boxes cannot get in the humidor right now. One of them's pretty big, so it's like that's another problem I have to deal with.
All right. You ready to do this?
I'm ready.
You want to start the intro like Cigar Coop?
All right, I'll do it.
You do your whole spiel and then I'll do my spiel.
Okay.
Do the countdown. Ready?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Countdown show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Powered from the Perdomo Cigar Studios on the Black Stage in Indian Trail, North Carolina, and broadcasting from Massachusetts, it's episode 2 of Spare Notes. Tonight, we have a potpourri of topics as me and Matt talk about just a bunch of random things.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
That was done on a wing, by the way.
That was really good. That's about. I think that's probably as good as you could have done it.
Considering I normally I do have it scripted, so I just kind of wing that is what I did.
Yeah, no, you did a good job. That was really good.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
I just figured I'd include you too. I mean, it's I want you to do an intro.
Can I do the closing? Can I do the closing? Annals of History.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely,
okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Great.
Anything for you, Coop.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us tonight as we start off episode 2 of the new Spare Notes series between myself and William Cooper.
Yep.
We have a bunch of things to talk about. Is it a potpourri of topics, is what you said?
potpourri. But I just realized something. This is not powered from the Perdomo Cigar Studios. It's powered from, and you're in Massachusetts. That's why I paused for a second. Um, but yeah, it's actually powered from where you are, and I'm in the
You're
Perdomo
right.
Studios.
You're right. It actually, I'm the one
Yeah,
hosting the show.
yeah, exactly. Which you can find
uh,
this on the Smoke and Tobacco network of things. Yeah. So
it's
keep
true.
saying. Yeah.
But yeah, so we have a fun show tonight. I know that there's some things that you want to talk about. There's a couple of things that I brought
Yep.
up with you, and I don't know where to start. I mean, there's so many topics. First of all right, let's start off with something easy, and then
hmm
we'll kind of go from there. The first thing,
Okay.
not that it's like a big deal or anything, but it's something that I think we've both been keeping tabs on, and it's kind of a new thing in the cigar industry right now. And I'm not going to say everybody I know who's doing it because I don't want to steal anyone's thunder, but I know a lot of people who are doing this, as I'm sure you do as well. But the cigar advent calendar has become a thing. I think it was early last week or this week when Oliva announced that they're coming out with one. And it's funny because I know a bunch of people who are working on them too.
Yep.
And I've had this conversation with a couple of people, and even John Carney has said to me, he's like, I think this year will be like the year of the advent calendar.
Right.
Um, which I was like, yeah, you're right. I think that's going to be like the thing this year for
Yeah.
cigars. What's your take on this whole thing?
Well, okay, so the advent calendar idea has been one that's been out there for a while. It was suggested by Pete Johnson several years ago
Yeah.
with Tatuaje. He is, and this is where I kind of say that teasers never work, right? Because he's teased it for a while and talked about doing it for a while. And then he actually did announce it, right?
Hmm.
This year that it was coming to fruition. It's something that if you're a Tatuaje fan, you are very excited about this, right?
Hmm.
But then news came, which didn't come across the Cigar Coop desk, about Oliva doing one. So there's word out that Oliva is doing that one as well. The Half Wheel guys reported that they have very good ties with Oliva, so I'm not surprised with that. So I would say the story's true. But yeah, now we have another advent calendar coming out.
I think it's a cool idea.
I like the idea. Yeah.
I'm really interested to see like how they play out though. Like once people start getting them, and then if people actually follow them, or if that there's gonna be like a percentage of people who well, actually, hold on. Before I say, are some of these gonna have like limited edition stuff within the calendar that you can only get in the calendar? Because I know like different people are doing it. I think
That
some
wasn't
people are
clear to
doing
me. That wasn't clear to me.
because people are gonna get it and they're just gonna rip it open and take all the cigars out.
Right.
But if you actually do it, it's a pretty fun idea. Um, it's something that I like. It's something that I don't know if I could follow though, because like I have too much, like my ADD is too much. Like I would do it for the first 3 days and then I'd be like, I want to like go smoke other stuff, and then I'd miss a few days and then I'd have to go back and then I'd have to like smoke 3 of them to catch up. And I don't know if it's something I could follow really religiously, but I like the idea. But for those people who are like really loyal to like one brand, or I think there's some retailers doing it, but I won't say who. Um, you know, I think it's cool. I think that if that's like if, for example, like a Tatuai, if you're a big Tatuai guy, you're a Saints and Sinners guy, um, you follow a Tatuai advent calendar for cigars, I think that'd be badass. Um, I'm really interested to see kind of like where they go once they're all like kind of out there and they've people start going through all of them. I think it's definitely going to be a big holiday thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tricky thing though if you want the element of surprise though, because the idea is, I guess, you open up the advent calendar and you pull a cigar out, right? I guess that's the concept behind it. Cool concept, but if you're very plugged into social media, there's gonna be people who post the pictures of those, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Um, when Steve Saka came out with the STFU sampler, like the problem is like people were posting reviews of it like as soon as they got it and were smoking it. So, you had to kind of tune yourself out to that, which is kind of gets a little tricky. But at the same time, I can understand, hey, you can't tell people not to do it either, right? So it's kind of one you're gonna have if you want the element of surprise, you're probably gonna have to manage it a little more. unless they make the calendars different for everybody. There's a lot of
Like
options.
every day's random for everyone. Like your
Yeah,
cigar for like the fifth day might be different than mine.
right, something
I
like
thought of
that.
that too. I thought of that too. I'm like, what if they're all different? But then I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, is it? I don't know. I will
I
see.
I I hope they're legitimate releases, and I'm not implying that they're not. But sometimes it's very easy. They could throw something in they had in the factory and say, and that has mixed results sometimes. Sometimes it could be something very good, and other times it could be a disappointment. I don't see Oliva doing that as much as like I see Tatuai could mix it up a little more because Oliva's got a pretty straight pro portfolio. Tatuai Pete's got a lot of limiteds. He can bring some harder to find stuff and throw it in there. So but I don't think the details of Pete's or Oliva have fleshed out on what these are going to be yet. Nor should they. I don't think you
No.
want that stuff in there.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should just kind of be like buy it and find out. Because I mean,
Yeah,
it's just that's the best way. I mean, that's the most fun way. You know what I mean?
yeah.
If you go like, all right, it's gonna have like this, and this, or I mean, even I guess you could tease and be like, all right, there's gonna be like 4 one-offs. There's gonna be like 3 like already like limited stuff that we already make, and then like there's gonna be like a couple of regular stuff that you might recognize. Like if you tease like how many of like what category you have, that might keep it interesting because it kind of gets you to like, oh, like I want to like smoke like I want to open tomorrow's. I want to see what's in there. Like it might be something super rare, like or it might be something like really good to like, you know what I mean? That part would like keep people like engaged in it, like, oh, I gotta find out what tomorrow's is. As long as you're right, as long as it doesn't get spoiled. I think the best way would be if it was completely randomized, which I don't, my personal opinion, I don't think that'll ruin it. I think it'll be good because that way no one's is the same. At the same time, like if a limited release for one guy comes out on Thursday and like yours is something different, you're
Yeah,
like, oh, well, that
I
one's
agree.
coming. But I mean, at the same time, you don't know when it's coming too. So even if you find out, it's not like you're like, oh man, when am I going to hit that one? So
Yeah,
I guess it could be fun that way.
yeah. Pete's talked about this for a long time. I remember going back to the old BOTL forums when I followed them. This has got to be 7 or 8 years ago. It's been talked. He's talked about like we would want to do something like this. So I'm pretty excited. I think John Carney's spot on. I think we're going to see more of these. The Oliva one I know goes for $200, which
Hmm.
for 25 cigars, that's not a bad project. And I don't think we know what any of the packaging is going to look like yet for this, but I imagine the packaging is going to be pretty cool with these things. It's something you could probably keep afterwards, I'm sure. So, I don't know how they're going to be humidified. That's would be my concern on it, but
True.
I think it's a fun thing, and I don't really have a problem that Oliva's doing one either. I'm sure Pete's probably not happy about it, right? Because I think he was wanting to do this for a long time, and now one comes in there. So, um,
What I
but I
can
think
say, because and I'm not gonna say who it is, and I'm not gonna get too specific because I don't. I'm not a kiss and tell guy. If something's shown to me in confidence or told to me,
right,
like
you
I
don't,
stick to
yeah,
that. But that being said, sometimes you can be very vague on some things you've seen without giving away too much information. I have seen a sample of one in person.
oh wow,
Yes, I have seen a sample of one that someone is doing. I won't say who. I won't say how it's done or how it's being made.
right,
But what I will say is that the design on this particular one that was shown to me, um, at least this one, I haven't seen any other ones.
yeah,
We haven't really seen any of the other releases, but this one that I was shown that I've seen for myself in person, it was done right. I will say it was done right, and I think this person's release is going to be pretty good. That's all I'm gonna say because I'm not gonna ruin it for anyone. So I
that's
just
fair.
that's all I'm gonna say
So
is I've
but there's
seen a
more than
sample and it
two.
was
So you already noticed there's a third one what someone's doing is what you're saying now.
yes.
Okay, okay,
That's all
and
I'm
we
gonna
don't
say
have to
though.
go any further. Okay, that's fine. So
Um,
John Connie's right. There's definitely going to be a trend. I think when Pete started talking about it about a year ago, he opened the floodgates for this. Unfortunately, he
mhm.
should have just came out with it. But
Yeah,
but
I like Pete. I think Pete's a very innovative guy, and he's.
yeah,
But you're right. I almost kind of wish like he just didn't say anything about it
say
because
anything. Yeah,
it would have been so cool if he just was like,
I
look what I
really.
have, and I would have been
But
like,
I think we
ooh,
should. I think as media, though, we should make sure we give Pete the proper due on this when all is said and done. Is he suggested this idea going back several years ago?
He gets the credit.
So
He gets the
he should
credit.
get the credit. He should get the
Yeah.
credit for it. Yeah. I mean, if he came out with it in secret the year after, everyone was going to probably come out with it. So unfortunately, it's happening maybe the same year, but it is what it is.
This is this is all speculation because as much as people know that I love this person, this is not the person. I don't know. I honestly don't know if this person is doing it or not. But based on the facts that I have, that Pete Johnson was like all about this idea, I have a funny feeling that Matt Booth will come out with one because I could see him being like, "Ooh, yeah, I'll steal that idea."
What would he say about that? Very interesting. Going back to the salad days.
Very interesting. No, I don't know. I feel like he's the kind of guy who would do that too because he's into that, special release stuff, not just
Yep.
like the cigar, but like something more than just the cigar.
Yeah.
I feel like he would do that.
Yeah.
As is like Drew Estate and like Fuente, they do really special cool stuff like that.
Yep.
I could see them doing it. If they don't do it right away, though, I don't see them doing it right away. But if other people like are successful with it and it really starts to stick, I could see
Yeah.
like those two doing it because they're into that stuff. So I could see them doing something like that.
Yeah.
You could Drew Estate too because they could do like some Liga, they can do some Undercrown, they can do some Herrera Esteli, they can
Yep.
do there's
Yep.
so many different things that they have that they could
Yeah.
shuffle in there. That would be a really fun one. Yeah, I think that would be cool.
Yep.
That's all I got on those though. It's a cool idea and it's fun. I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
With it.
Yeah. I'm interested to see. I think there's some great creativity we'll see from this.
Oh,
So it's
cool.
good news. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I did not hit record on the program.
Are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
You get it off Facebook. You get it off Facebook.
Yeah, you're right. All right, I'll get
Yeah,
it that way.
You get it off Facebook. Yep.
All right.
And by the way, I've done this too.
Damn it. Everything was going so well. But yeah, I could probably get it after.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about, because I there's a couple of
Yeah.
things, and I know you have some of your own stuff you want to talk about, but really quickly, let's hit on. So there's been word that the state of Connecticut is putting the steps together to ban indoor smoking as of I want to say October 1st of this year. What is your feel on that?
So this has been a little bit of a hot topic the last 48 hours. So what we do know is that there was was it a weed bill that was passed in Connecticut?
I think so, yeah.
And in that weed bill was some language that could be interpreted as potentially putting more smoking bans in existing places, namely walking, like, you have to be X number of feet now away from the buildings, and potentially you can't smoke in cigar lounges. Now, I say this because there's been a few retailers who have been very public about this, and they went right after PCA on this, saying, "How did this happen?" And PCA has responded, saying this is not true, that the bill doesn't do that. And they said that the whoever heads a guy by the name of Brian Shapiro, who heads the Connecticut Cigar Association, is also saying it's not true. But there's definitely 2 points of view, and I think it needs some clarification. And there's been some very spirited words on social media I've seen on this. What I will say on the PCA piece is I think they need to explain it, or whoever explain why if it doesn't apply, they need to kind of come out with. They came out with a statement, and they really didn't say much, saying it doesn't apply. But obviously there's some ambiguity out there, and let's show it. Let's show it. Show me what it is. So That's kind of where that stands right now. I do know one of the retailers who's upset about it. He is in touch with what's going on in Connecticut. So I have no reason not to believe him that he doesn't understand this. Like, I believe that he has a good pulse on this. But there's been a lot of things on social media going back and forth that doesn't belong on social media. The parties need to get on a telephone call, on a Zoom call, and hash this out, and then give a clear statement on what this is, so we can understand. But until then, I don't know. I don't know what it is. If it's true, it's a bad thing, and if it's true, then I think PCA does have some explaining to do on this. Because these are the types of things that really, these smoking bills, when they're guised under something else. This is where we get killed. This is what gets us every time, is when they wrap this under something else. And it's a hard job. I get that they can't be everywhere to everything, but they need to hash this out right now.
I agree. It's something that it's tricky. They can't be everywhere all the time. I get that.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
also it's hard for them to be on top of every piece of legislature that's out there, like you said, that really on the surface you may or may not realize or think that it might have anything to do with premium cigars in any way possible. But I think that it's something that, especially with like the legalization of marijuana is continuing to grow and grow in the United States, that I know I think we all know we're getting close to federal
Yeah.
legalization. So when that happens and weed is just as open as premium cigars, so to speak, I think that okay, it'll open, everyone can have it, whatever, you can smoke weed, whatever, wherever you want to go. I think that then it'll be like, okay, well, the people are gonna start thinking, well, where can you smoke it? And then it's gonna be like that whole like folded in, oh, we'll throw cigars in there too, and and all smoking, and then and then it's like okay, because and everyone's looking at weed, or even like with the vape stuff. A lot of the vape stuff, we saw that with when the whole thing about kids will have the vapes with all the flavored juices and stuff, and we got to get away from kids, and so like all right, well we got to ban the flavors, but while we're at it, let's ban all flavored tobacco too. Let's just
Yeah.
get rid of all. It's like that's how they do it. The problem is over here, and then they're like, well, let's sweep this in too and
Yeah.
do it all together. And you're right. It's like the focus is on one part, but we all get thrown in there too. And it's, somebody, oh, wait a minute, hold on. You know, this is a separate thing. And I know
Yeah.
because there's people who don't think that it's a separate thing. And then there's people who are like, well, I mean, you have like A and then you have B. I mean, you have like steak and then you have like mashed potatoes. It's not even in the same food category. Like, I know it's unfortunately these are the things that in our industry we have to deal
Yeah.
with. There's always someone coming after us, and there's always someone who's trying to be tricky with it too. Like, oh well, we're not gonna come right after the cigars
Yeah.
and be like, hey, we're coming after you. We're gonna come after this, and
Yeah.
we're gonna throw you in.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I think that you're right. There needs to be more clarification. There needs to be some more specifics on
Yep.
exactly what that means for everybody who smokes
Right.
any kind of thing.
Right. Yep. I definitely agree with that. And like I said, I don't know what the answer. The language was. I did read it. I could see where people are saying it's true. But I'm not. This was a big, big bill. So did I read through the whole bill? No. Okay. So, but I am kind of curious to that. So we'll see. I think, like I said, let's get the clarification. Keep this stuff off social media. But yeah.
Um, I think that and probably several other things that we probably won't get into on the show, just for the sake of time and all that. But I think
Mhm.
there's some things that in a couple weeks, you and I will be in Las Vegas for PCA. And well, we kind of already been talking a lot about PCA already, so I don't really want to take up too much of the show about the
Right.
trade show because I feel like it's kind of a dead horse at this point. But the only thing I will say about that is I think when we all get out there, that'll be a good time while everyone's together to maybe get some clarification on a couple of issues that are kind of floating out there in the wind. That like, okay, so what exactly is going on? How does that affect us and everybody else? Because I think it's good to know how it affects other types of, industries, so that way we can kind of gauge where we are. So I'm hoping that during the course of that 4 or 5 days that we're all involved with the trade show, that there's some good information that comes out
Yeah. Yep.
while we're all together.
Yep.
Another thing I wanted to talk about was speaking of cigar organizations, the TAA has announced that they will be holding meetings this fall and next spring. There's not a lot to say on that, in my opinion. I mean, I think it's good. We're kind of getting to that point of the sorry, there is like a mosquito or something that's all over me. That we're getting to that point where like things are coming back. So obviously, that's good news. It's something that we want to see. So that's good. I'm glad that there's going to be holding meetings. We've already had TPE, we've had PCAs in a couple weeks, so we're starting to see the return of some normalcy with some in-person events and stuff, in our industry, all industries, but in our industry. So I wanted to bring that up really quickly. And then the only other thing
Can I give it? Can I give you a spare note on it?
Go right ahead.
Okay, because
why
I have
we're here.
something that you may not know. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, Aaron Loomis and I have been very, very critical of the TAA on a lot of things when it comes to their cigar exclusive series.
Okay.
They've done an atrocious job at marketing them. They have not done a good job at being selective on the blends. I mean, I think the products. There's some companies that do great jobs, like LFD, Tatuaje, and Turn Heads, but there's been a lot of misses in there, right? But I think these cigars, I see them sit on shelves. I saw Monte Cristo, a Monte Cristo TA cigar being blown out by a retailer at 60% off from a few years ago. A Monte Cristo TAA cigar, right?
Oh.
So retailers are buying this stuff and they're not moving. Some of them move better than others. Let me just say, some do move fast, some don't. But what I'll tell you, the piece that we're going to start to see is the TAA has, I think, recognized they have some things they need to address, and they have hired a PR firm to help them out.
Really? I didn't know that.
And I will say bravo to the TAA for making this move, because in my opinion, they have something good. I mean, I think they do need to improve on the quality of their releases, and that's something a PR firm ain't going to help them with. But in terms of the market, like presentation of these cigars, Matt, I could tell you, what happens every year? The manufacturers leak these things out every year, right? And it becomes like an arms race to find out who has a TAA cigar and what the details of them. And the manufacturers don't put any marketing effort in. And in my opinion, what they need to do is they need to take the cigar aficionado approach, saying, "Hey, you guys are embargoed from talking about this until we make the announcement at the trade show,
Right.
Or we make the announcement beforehand." So that's kind of what I know what's going on there. That note that was the first communication that came from the PR firm, and I give them major props because I beat the TAA up to death over the last 3 or 4 years, and actually 4 or 5 years, I'll say. And I think this is a step in the right direction what they're doing with the communication, and I hope it continues.
Yeah, I mean, some of those TAA releases are pretty cool too. You mentioned a few people who have done it well. I mean, La Flor Dominicana.
They put a lot of effort into it. Those companies. Some
They
companies
do.
don't put the effort in. Some companies just grab something out of the factory and slap a TAA band on it. But others do a good job with it.
I know last year, like with COVID, I think was probably the only year when I think some of the TAA releases were, not as, involved, or maybe some of them might have been repeated. Like I think LFD.
They punted theirs to this year.
Yes.
So there were a few companies that couldn't get
Yes,
theirs
because
out,
they
and
didn't want to put it out last year so they were like, well, we're gonna save that for when
smart move.
Yeah, I think that was a smart move.
Smart move. Good for them.
I think that was the right.
Not ready. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the right call. That was the right call.
And even if the cigars are ready, I don't know if it was the right time to. These are TA's all about brick and mortar establishment, right? And it's very important. So I mean, I think you want those showcased in your brick and mortars. So I think it was a good move. I mean, I understand some companies got theirs out, and I totally understand that. But I know Crown Heads, LaFleur, and La Polina pushed theirs out to this year.
Yeah. Um, sorry. Yeah, I think it was the right call. I think it's the right move. I'm glad that they're taking some more steps to better
They
promote
needed to do
those
this for a long
releases.
time. They
Yeah.
because they should they should be the TA should be setting the lead here. They should be you know what you should walk into a store, Matt, and you should see a nice TA cabinet, and there should be great cigars in there, best of the best. And you got these retailers who have something very special they're sitting on, and the last few years they have, I just my opinion, they haven't gotten the blends, nor have they gotten the distribution right on showcasing these products. So I think this is a step in the right direction all around, and this is a perfect time to do it. So
Agreed. I agree. I think
yeah,
this would be
yeah,
really good for them. Now, moving on to other subjects. I know you had some of your own things that you probably wanted to bring up.
yeah,
So I'm gonna throw the torch
yeah.
over to you.
Yeah, I actually the first thing I have is you know, I have gotten this reputation of being a guy who
Does 5 hour long shows. No, I'm just kidding.
5 hour long shows, yes. But first of all, I've gotten this reputation that I will only report on something with a press release, right? Which is the most false statement you can make, okay?
Yep.
But that's not true. We just want communication. What happens is this, right? This time of the year, there are people basically, and we haven't done this yet. And I'm not saying I'm not going to do it at some point. They basically start calling and emailing every manufacturer saying what you have coming out for the show. Okay. When you answer that to one person, right, you basically have excluded every other media person. You
Right.
basically fucked us, right? Because now you've given it to someone else, right? And we're in a no-win situation because now we're either riding on the coattails of this, right? Or we're riding on the coattails, or we're behind. We're behind the eight ball. And when you do news, it's very competitive. And I've had to have conversations point blank with some people I'm close to saying, this, you're really not doing anyone a service here. So that's a big problem right now. How why cigar companies do this, and just send an email out to your whole media list and do it that way. It just seems a lot easier. So that's one problem. The other problem that we have is that print magazines are basically getting exclusives on this stuff at the expense of everyone else. So sometimes when an exclusive goes to a big publication, we do not get the any information. Some companies will follow up with you a day later or a few hours later, but another problem again where you're hurting us right now. But here's where I will say what I do, okay, in terms of if I don't have accurate press information from the company, doesn't matter if I reach out to them or they reach out to me. If I don't have accurate press information, your cigar will most likely not get reviewed because if I don't have accurate information, I can't, it caused a problem. If you saw, did you see the half wheel review of the PDR cigar?
Not yet.
Okay, they reviewed a PDR cigar. They gave it a 50. Okay, and I'm not going to debate on the 50, but it turned out that they got the wrong cigar. Right. Well, again, if you were taking the time to do proper press information, get a press kit out, get this stuff out, put it somewhere, Charlie wouldn't have had that problem. No one else would have had that problem.
Right.
But the cigar companies don't want to do that. And this is a problem right now. So I've said right now that if you get the proper press information, that's why I won't review a cigar that I don't have press information on. Sometimes I'll call the company and say, "Hey, I'm reviewing a cigar. Can you get me info?" And they're good about that. But it's not like if I don't get a press release, I ain't talking to you, right?
Hmm.
But now I'm going to tell. Now I'm going to tell. I don't know if you have anything to say, but I'm going to tell another story here.
I don't have I don't have a whole thing to really get into. I would say I kind of I would agree with what you're saying. I think that there needs to be a better approach
Mm-hmm.
to the release of information, especially leading up to the show. I would say that there's a huge component of creating hype and buzz for the
Yeah.
show.
Right.
Because the manufacturers, they have things that they want to put out, that they want
Well,
to sell at the trade show. I mean, let's also not forget, as much as the trade show is a good time to see everybody, it's also for, raising money for the PCA to, fight the fight.
yeah.
But the primary focus is, at the end of the day, manufacturers come to sell inventory to retailers. So you have shops, owners and buyers and GMs for all these retailers flying in from all over the country to come and shop. You know, don't you think that it would be nice if you told everyone what's going to be there before they got there?
Oh my goodness, and I think it's and especially with the PCA exclusives, they
Because think
waited too
about it.
long.
Because think about it, Coop. Like when you go grocery shopping, right? And or maybe I don't know if you do it or if your wife does it. But example, you go grocery shopping. Most people make like a list. They're like, well, I need tomatoes and we need more
Right.
orange juice and I need milk
Right.
and right. And like you make a list and you have enough idea of like your budget that you're gonna spend. Like, oh, I'm gonna spend like $200 on groceries this week because we need a lot of things and whatever. These shops kind of are doing the same thing. Like, all right, well, as much as like we're going out there and we're gonna buy stuff that maybe we don't know we're gonna buy something because
Right.
they don't know because there's things that they don't know that they're gonna find. So like they know like yeah, I'm gonna go to LFD. I'm gonna see Carney and I'm gonna order diggers and 700 Maduros and like they know that's that, but there's other stuff that's gonna be there that they don't know about. That, oh, what's this? Like I know like there's retailers that I know for a fact have told me to my face, like I go out there with $1 million to spend. I got $1 million that I'm spending there. So it's like give them like, oh, Pete Johnson's putting out this and Rocky's putting out
Right.
this and like, oh, like let's make a list of like things that we might be interested in buying. um whether you sample it first and be like, oh yeah, let's take it in, or you're just gonna be like, no, let's just buy it and whatever. Like you go out there, and not that like when you go out there you find stuff you like and you buy it, like yeah, but at the same time, every retailer is different. There's bigger ones and there's smaller ones. So some of them might go out there being like, well, like I only have this much to spend and like I want to make sure I get the, but then they get out there and they see something and they're like, oh, I had no idea this was gonna be here. Like, and then I'm sure like not everyone, but I'm sure there's people out there who are like, well, I didn't really budget myself for all these extras that I found. It's like knowing ahead of time might make it easier. Maybe like, what, maybe we will skip some of this stuff from so and so and let's try some new things, because the inventory, we want to shake up our inventory a little bit. It's not like it's not that it like just doesn't work at all, but I think it's nicer and it's more convenient for the retailers who are going out there. A little bit more preparation. They know what oh, like we can expect
Yeah.
these, I would agree with you. I think that there should be some information beforehand, like, hey, you're coming out, cool. So look for this. Some companies do it, some companies don't. It's kind of like, well, we have stuff that's coming out in the show and we'll see you out there. And it's like, all right, well, it might be. I know, and some people like, well, we want to save it for the show and the element of surprise, or like, we don't want to say anything till the show and make it exclusive for people who are at the show. Well, I get that, but like you said, it might be nice for people to have a little bit of a game plan going into it too.
Yeah. So for example, the PCA exclusives this year, and your point's right on. My father, Tatuaje, and Padron are said to have exclusives, but you have to come to the booth to find out what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Saka's doing it too, but I think he's got a different reason. I think he wants the message communicated a certain way with the Stillwell Star. But let's take those three companies. So in most years, look, in most cases, if you are a My Father, Tatuaje, or Padron customer, that's going to be fine because you're going to do business with them at the show, most likely. So you can get away with it. But the problem I have with it this year is the PCA exclusives were meant to drive people to the trade shows.
Mm-hmm.
And they should have been announced. I think everyone should have announced them this year, and they should have been announced earlier. Because I think the idea is they're really trying to create excitement and build up the trade show. So I don't think this was the right year to do it. However, I do understand there are some supply chain issues. So I understand it too, but I don't know what some of the companies are thinking about sometimes, in my opinion. At least Saka, he put out a picture of the Stillwell Star, and he says, I'm going to explain it at the trade show. But that's just my opinion. I just think, you can use some element of surprise, but why, if you're committed, if you're doing an exclusive for the PCA to help them out, wouldn't it give them the best help to announce what this is and show pictures of it? That's just my opinion. PCA is doing a great job promoting these show exclusives. And then there's a category of the non-show exclusives, which is a different category. But if you're doing a PCA exclusive, they're doing their best to promote it, and I give them a lot of credit. They get beat up a lot, but I think they're doing a good job promoting these releases, better than the manufacturers have done for sure.
Real quick, only because I just lit this up. I know. Tell us really quick what you're smoking.
Okay, so I am smoking, and I know I have air blowing down here, so it's not the best burn, but it's because of the air. I am smoking the Asylum Big Time Tommy 7x70.
It's a good stick. Big. Well,
It's a
I haven't
good
had it,
stick.
but like
So-
it's a good size stick.
It's a solid cigar. I do like a big ring gauge cigar. I picked this cigar because I pre-recorded cigar primetime jukebox prior to this. And we try to pick a cigar that goes with the theme. The theme was Peter Gabriel. Tonight, Peter Gabriel has a song called Big Time, and I found a cigar that had the name Big Time in it, so I went with it. So this is kind of unique in that I've been smoking this probably for a couple of hours. It's a massive 7x70, and I'm talking excellent cigar. This is for 7x70. It's an excellent cigar. It's not overpowering. It can appeal to a lot of people who may want a big cigar in their hands and smoke it. Asylum makes good big ring gauge cigars. They know what that's their core competency, so they know what they're doing there.
I am smoking a pretty old cigar. You know what this is already.
Yep.
This cigar has been around for a little while. This was given to me as a gift. I have a couple of them, but this is an old La Flor Dominicana Factory Press 2, which is interesting in itself. I mean, even the press on it too. My camera, I don't think will autofocus because I'm using this a lot, but from back
Yeah, you
here,
can see it now. Yeah, right where you are is good.
I mean,
Like, you can see the pressing on it.
this is probably one of the flattest, like squarest, flattest box presses that I've ever seen. It's just when you
Yep.
look at it, like wow. Whether like it's the roll and the construction on it is like just amazing. And it smokes well too. I just lit this up, and this is a fantastic cigar. I just wanted to bring it up because I'm like, I just lit this, and I knew you were smoking that, and we didn't bring
Yep.
it up, but
Yep.
just so everyone knows, what we're smoking. It's been an LFD night for me. I actually just finished a Coronado before
Nice.
this, so it's been an
Yep.
El Flor Dominicana night for me. So
Yep.
shout out to John Carney. Love you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, this may be the first cigar. I may be the first person in cigar podcast history to smoke continuous cigar, start a cigar on one still and finish it on the other. So weird circumstances, but
You might be
it
on
just
something
happened to work
there.
out like that. Yep. And then I'll have to grab something if I run out here, but I don't think it's a slow burning cigar too. I'll say that. And I'm
Yeah, I mean,
cashing all over.
7x70. You want to smoke it slow. I like the Ogre a lot that they make. It's not something I can smoke all the time, but like when I'm in the mood and like I'm ready to smoke something that big, that's a cigar I go to. I love that cigar.
We actually just talked about the Ogre too, and I mentioned that that was originally released in a 7x70, and then they created other sizes. But I'm telling you, the 7x70 I think is the best size because they blended it for that size originally.
Correct.
It was intended to be big, and that's why it's a good cigar.
Yes, I mean, I agree. The same could be said for a lot of cigars. And this kind of is a topic that gets talked about a lot, but it can be a little broad. But yeah, I mean, there are certain cigars that were blended in a certain size, and then like there's 4 or 5 sizes that are available, but there's always one size that always is just better than all the others, and it's night and day. Sometimes it's the Robusto, sometimes it's the Toro. It's whatever was blended first, I think, is like where the focus was. And I was like, well, let's like make that recipe in this size, and it works. It's good, but the whatever size I think was the focal point of the blend is always going to be the best because that's so yeah, I agree with you. I think the 7x70 Ogre is the best out of that, and it's one of my favorites. I'm a big ring gauge guy. I'm not quite that big. I like them. I don't do them a lot, but that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Our friend Jay Davis for Blue Smoke Dallas is in the chat. He says the 860, the 6x80 of the Ogre is money. And I'll be honest, I have not smoked that size.
I haven't had that one either.
I haven't had that size. I've had some of the other sizes. So it may be that this cigar really is good in a big ring gauge. So I trust Jay's palate a lot. I won't disagree on that. At least he didn't do it. The Lancero was better. So
Let's not start a Lancero debate
yep.
because we both know we'll just get stuck on that for hours.
Oh, I got a reputation as a Lancero hater, despite the fact that 1 year.
Oh, I know. We've
Lanceros
talked
on 1
about
and
it.
2. Yeah.
I know. I know where you stand. I'm not
I'm
trying
just
to open
yeah.
any wounds. We'll just leave it alone.
Exactly. I'm sure we'll come up again. Yeah.
To kind of finish off that other subject that I kind of cut us off on. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I guess I like how Steve at least said, okay, like this is coming out. Like I won't give you all the information, but it's like at least he was like, well, this is coming out, so like know that there's something there when you get there, versus just like I have something, and you'll find out when you get there. It's like
I think he's already talked too much on it, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. To me, I think I know what it is.
Why you think he's just going to build up too much?
You want me to say it? I'll say it. He can get mad. I don't know any information. He hasn't told me anything. I think he's doing something like barrel aged or infused because he's saying this blend's gonna be in 4 different formats, and that would make the most sense to me. And I'm not the only person who said this. We've talked, so this is the first time I've probably said publicly, but I don't know if that's true. This is my guess. And he says, people are gonna get mad at me and stuff like that. So I kind of
people always get mad at him because he likes to push, but that's what makes him great.
He's gonna sell out every cigar of these at the show.
Yeah,
he's gonna sell every single cigar. I guarantee you it. Like if you get to booth day 3, you're not gonna be able to get that cigar.
But that's his shtick, you know what I mean?
That's his shtick, and it works.
It works, and that works for him, and that's the Saka way, and it's not a bad thing. That's what works for him, and that's who he is. That's his reputation, and you may be right. You may be. We'll find out. We'll find out in a couple weeks.
do you remember a few years ago? I don't know if you're following Saka. He sent like a case of cigars back from Vegas, right? And he opened up the case and he said this liqueur spilled all over the cigars, right? Who packs a bottle of liquor in with cigars that would spill all over? I mean, honestly, to me, I keep going back. He was setting the stage for doing something like this back then. He doesn't put, and he goes, oh, why do I do these things? Blah blah. This is exactly what he does, Saka. This is why that's my guess here.
I will say that Saka likes to play a certain personality publicly, but I think it's all like he's a mastermind. You know what I mean?
He's a genius. He's a marketing genius.
Yeah.
STFU was one of the most brilliant things anyone did last year. We do a person of the year vote, and I gave Steve and his company some votes for that last year. I think he did a hell of a job. I mean, he's done a hell of a job with his company. And no doubt he is going to have all eyes are going to be on his trade show booths this year, especially with the big 4 out. This is a golden opportunity for Saka, and you see what he's doing at the trade show. He's basically putting his A game in.
Oh yeah, I think this would be a big year for him as well.
Yeah, I do so too.
He's going to have more traffic that's going to need to be eaten up that the big 4, won't have, obviously, because they won't be there. As a lot of other manufacturers, I mean, technically all of them, but there's going to be certain manufacturers who I think will grow from this opportunity.
I do too. I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of people.
And I think I can already see it after this show. We're going to have like weeks and weeks of conversations on what went down, because I think this show is going to be truly unique, given for so many reasons and so many different circumstances. We're gonna have to. There's gonna be a lot of post game shows on this one. So
absolutely, yeah.
There was something I wanted to bring up, but is there anything else you wanted to bring up first?
Yeah, I want to bring up a second part to what I was talking about.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is the other thing I have. So I'm gonna ask you what should Will Cooper do in this situation?
All right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is a true scenario. Okay, I'm not gonna name names because it hasn't come to a conclusion yet. But okay, so a few months ago, someone from a company came to Charlotte, and they asked me for help on how they should do press releases for their products. I sat down with this person, and talked about it, and then even sent them an example of one. Fast forward to TPE, and I read about their announcement from another online publication, which is kind of going against everything I said, right? I
Hmm.
went back to the person and I said, "Hey, look, man, what's up, man? I sat down with you had to do this, and I'm reading about it from one of my competitors, right? I got an apology. Hey, they caught me off guard. I got all these, and he got me the information right away. It won't happen again." Well, now they're doing their PCA releases, and I read about it again. So what should I do here? Should I just drop this? Should I confront them again? Because when this starts to happen, my answer is I don't think they want to work with me for whatever reason, and that's fine, and I can reprioritize. But I'm kind of I didn't want to have a knee jerk reaction. I was not happy when I saw this the second time happen
And this
with
is
the
someone
same
who you've
company.
already, sorry, this is someone you've already had a good relationship with already.
Yes, 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 I did. There was no bad relationship here.
Did you do any exclusive? You did so, and you've done other exclusive releases with them.
Nope, nope, never have.
Okay, so you all
Never
right.
have.
So
So yeah, never have. And oh, by the way, I wasn't asking for one either. So I kind of, and that's kind of what I said. I said, just send it out to everybody. We'll figure out how to get it out and who gets it first. Don't worry about that. And that's kind of like my attitude. And even if someone wants, I get some exclusives sometimes, and usually I just say, give me unless it's a shop exclusive, which is a lot of work to do that. I usually say just an hour window to do it, and do it that way. So, and then after that, give it to someone else for an, at that point. But yeah, so I've been now. This happened to me twice with the same company, who I have a good relationship with, and
hmm.
I can't believe that they did it a second time now. So
So if it was me, I wouldn't start like a huge thing over it because I mean it's just not worth it. I
that's
think
kind of what I'm thinking.
those situations are really reserved for when it really are justified. Um, but I would say, okay, sure, all right, play that game. But next time they come to you and they want something, I'd be like a little more closed off. Be like, I don't know.
So,
To
so,
me, it's a business thing. So if someone
yeah.
comes to you and says, "Hey, Coop, oh, well, give us some ideas, help us out with this thing." The implication there is like, "Oh, well, we're coming to you for help," because they want to be in your corner and they want you to be in their corner, whatever. Okay, yeah, yeah, we'll work together on this. And then they just go, "Give me what you have." You give it to them, and then they just walk away and they go give it to someone else. And then they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," like whatever. Okay, you give them the first one, sure, okay, yeah, maybe shit happens, maybe the story's true. But then they go and they do it again, cut off.
Yeah.
No more favors, no more helping. And they will, okay, we will do exclusive release. Be like, you know what? I don't think you know, I wouldn't go out of your way. Don't shut them off. Don't be nasty. It's not right. But don't go out of your way for it. You know what I mean? Like, don't
Uh,
let someone just take advantage of you and then just use you and get away with it.
well,
Shut that store
what
off.
I think, yeah, what I think I'm gonna have to do, and this is not like punishment, but when it comes to prioritizing the booze we cover, I got to put this company towards the bottom. There's no way because there's
Yeah.
people who are working with me to do this, and at some point, look, there's companies I have screwed because I didn't get to their booze in the past, right? That have done things. They've worked with us. They've been really good to us, and I feel I owe it to at least get to their booth and give them coverage. But if this is going to happen, as if this is the model of behavior that's going to happen, it's going to change. Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Like Padron doesn't send me any press information. I'm covering the
Mhm.
Padron booth. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just, but a smaller company where I have more of a one-on-one relationship, I got to look at the whole picture. And hey, if we have time to cover you, we'll cover you. But it's disappointing because I like what this company is doing and I like the person with this company a lot. So this is not there's no bad blood here. So at least from my point of view. So it's disappointing that especially because I kind of sat with this person and did it. That's kind of what hurt. Yeah, I sat down and explained what you need to do, how to do this, how we should work. So I'm glad. I appreciate your answer. I think your answer is spot on as well.
Yeah.
And no, I'm
I,
not
I-
revealing it to the audience. I'm sorry. I want to be a little fair here because maybe something happened that I'm not aware of with the second scenario. So that's why. In time, it may come out, but not now.
yeah. I mean, just reading it off the surface, that'd be my thought process. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
what we do is still business. People can view it any way
Yeah.
they want, but
Yeah.
as much as what media is business, it's a business relationship.
Yeah.
We
Now,
we have relationships with manufacturers. It's a relationship. So, if you're going to treat the relationship one way, that you get what you get what you give.
yeah.
So that's the way
Yeah.
I look at it.
Yep. Yep.
Like for example, there's a manufacturer out there who I politely critiqued that we covered on our last
Yep.
episode, and they took it the complete wrong way. Well, guess what? They get no coverage from me. And because this situation is a little bit different because it was a little more extreme. So you're gonna get what you give. So you gave me a nasty
Yeah.
reaction. You got your friends to try and gang up on me because as the media, I commented on what I
Yeah.
saw. Well, guess what? In the future, not that I expect them to come to me for anything, but
Right.
you know, maybe I just won't even cover your booth at the show.
Yeah.
Maybe I just maybe if you do turn around someday like, oh well, hey, like we want to, I'll be like, that's great, you can go talk to William Cooper, you can go talk to Charlie Minato. I'm not interested. And I know how that sounds to some people, but
Yeah.
you know what, when you're in my position or your position, and we have to deal with these things, you know that's
Yeah.
it's business.
Yeah. It's business. Now, there's some companies that don't do press releases, like Pete Johnson doesn't do. Skip doesn't do it. We still cover their booths.
Correct.
It has affected the amount of coverage I give them because again, if my competitor is spending an hour crafting a story from the ground up, and for me to call someone 10 minutes after they publish it, right, and get the same info, it's disrespect to my competitor who spent the time getting that story. I don't like that, right? So I want to be respectful to them as well with that. So, and that's been a problem with some companies that don't do press releases, and that's okay. But in this case, I felt like they came to me for a best practice and kind of bought into it. And then the first time even said, we screwed up. So that's I appreciate the input. That's what I was looking for.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, my standpoint on whether you ask me or anyone asked me, um I just I just say it how it is.
Yeah,
If I don't
exactly.
like you, if I don't like you, you know, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna be an asshole about it,
Right.
unless it's very warranted.
Yeah.
But I'll be like, well, I mean, you slighted me, so But I mean, look, I mean, some people might disagree with that, but I'm one of those people where I don't have time to waste on disrespect. You disrespect me, maybe I won't disrespect you back, but I won't give you the time of day. It's just how it is. There's plenty of manufacturers, there's plenty of people out there I could cover, the people I could work with. I'm gonna give them my energy. I'm not gonna waste my energy on someone who's
We
just gonna take
have to
advantage.
like you got to see it at the trade show.
That's it. It's
It
very
is
cut and
a
dry.
finite window of time you got to have. It's unbelievable. The window is finite, and the days are going to go fast depending on the level of like. You sit down in a booth and have a cigar with someone, it eats up a good chunk of your day
It does.
very quickly. Yeah, and I hate doing that. So we've always done, for example, when we want to smoke with someone in the booth, we go to that booth at 4:30.
I mean,
We go at the end of the day.
perfect example.
Perfect.
Just do the math, right? So you get Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You have 4 days. Okay. There's how many booths? Like 100 and
150-ish maybe.
yeah. All right. So you take 150 booths at the trade show, 4 days. Let's say you spend 30 minutes, to an hour,
Yep.
right, at each booth. You're
Yep.
not covering every booth.
No. This is
So
why I had to expand my team. I had to expand my team for this exact reason. We couldn't do it.
right. So when you go into a sorry, just got an important text
Good.
message. The the bet it's tough because you have to try and maximize what you get on those 4 days,
Yep.
and you have to try and budget your time. So, even with you, like I know the scope of your operation going into this trade show. Even with that team that you have, it's still hard to cover every booth and have enough time to get like everything you need out of them in 4 days.
Yeah, yeah, and I know you were
It's
talking about
hard.
appointment. Yeah, you were talking about appointments, right? Appointments can sometimes work against you if we're trying to do a large press because sometimes I know exactly what's at the booth already, and there's
Hmm.
not much I need to do. But if I schedule a 30 to 45-minute block, am I kind of hurting my time right now? So we're going to be doing some multitasking where, we're going to be splitting up. I mean, into two teams of two right now, and do it that way. So we know we're gonna be doing some concurrent. Last year, like 2 years ago, Bear and I did 79 booths between us, and we knew we couldn't go any further, right, without expanding the team. The goal is to get to about 100, and I'm hoping we're gonna be adding video this year, so it may slow some things down too. But if we get to 100 this year, I'm happy.
Yeah, I think that's a good goal.
Yeah.
For me, like we have Smoke and Tobacco has a lot of appointments booked already,
Yep.
as I'm sure you do as well. And the appointments that we've booked have been I don't want to say strategic, but we're definitely paying attention to who we book appointments with because of time
Yep.
management.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, if we have an appointment with you, it's because we know for sure we need to spend some time there.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be worth our time, it's going to be worth your time or whatever.
Yeah.
There are people who maybe we won't make appointments with, and it's not because you're not important. It just means that maybe we don't feel we need that much time to cover what you have, which is not a bad thing. If anything, it makes it easier for everyone. I don't want to waste your time if I don't have to, and vice versa. You know what I mean? If I feel like I can get in and out in a couple minutes, I can get all the footage I need, the photos I need, and the information written down to move on to the next guy. I still have everything I need. I'm going to report on your booth, but I don't need to take up 30, 45 minutes to an hour of your time.
Yeah.
And that's valuable time for me. Time
Yeah.
is, and at the end of the day, time is money. So it's like the more time I spend at one booth, that's less time I get to spend either another
Yeah.
booth, or that's
Yeah.
those minutes in the five
Yeah.
booths I see like in 2 hours.
Right.
I already lost maybe like two booths. I'm not even going to get to the whole 4 days. That's
Yeah.
four
Yeah.
booths that
Yeah.
are gone.
Yeah.
So
You.
you have to go into it with a game plan.
Yeah, you absolutely do. You're ahead of the curve of where I was year one. So, I learned a lot of hard. And then one year, Matt, 2017, I made a huge mistake. I went in under two brands. I went in a cigar coupe, but I was covering another brand when I was with Smooth Drawers Radio out of Atlanta.
Hmm.
I should have never did that because I was pulled in too many directions. It threw off my whole schedule, and it was the worst trade coverage I did. And I had to fix it. I mean, it was just there was the game plan. My game plan was not set up to do that, and I got off my game, and the coverage suffered. There were photos I was missing, information I was missing, and I said that can't happen again. And then that's when I brought Bear in the year after, and we started working on much more structure going forward with this. So it's very important. Yeah, the prep. Like people think if you're just going there to wander around and get cigars, it's like we've had team calls and stuff like that. We have two new guys. Like Ben's experienced. Aaron Nielsen's newer, so I'm going to be kind of mentoring him this year. But Ben's
Hmm.
done trade shows longer than I have, so that's easier. So I mean, but we still have to all coordinate, like how we're structuring all the content. Ben and I have been talking about this. We got to come up with a process with this. So I think we'll be fine with that. And if I don't hit 100 boosts, I don't hit 100 boosts. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I've already, you know, accepted the reality that we won't hit every single booth. And I'm even got to the reality of, as much as Nicole and I are planning to hit all the booths that we can get to together, there is a possibility, I would say maybe towards the end of the show, where based on kind of how we strategize to hit certain booths at certain times and certain like our the way we scheduled our appointments too. We're not just doing appointments all over the show. We're trying to centralize our appointments into like the first half of the show, and then the second half of the show we're gonna do other things. There is a possibility that Nicole and I even have to split up, and
Yep.
she does something, and I go to another booth just because
Yep.
maybe we fall behind, maybe we're running out of time, maybe it's like, all right, well, you know what, like you go over there, talk to them, I'm going over here and I'm going to talk to them, and and we just we'll bang out this whole road. Like it's it's a whole thing. It's involved. And a lot of people, they you tell me like, I'm going to a trade show, and they're like, oh, that's cool, blah, blah. It's like, no, like I'm not there to like saunter around and be like, oh, this is
No.
awesome. Like, no, like I'm going there to work. Like it's a work day for me. So anyone who thinks I'm just going out there to like hang out, or any of
No.
us, like, no, it's a work day. Like it's gonna be busy. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
answering the
Yeah.
phone. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Oh,
don't,
like don't text me on the show floor. I won't answer.
yeah.
So
So
yeah.
I will say this right now. Anyone watching it? So from like, Saturday morning to Tuesday night, don't even call me. Don't call me. Don't text me.
Yeah.
I won't. I won't have time. I'm gonna
The,
be
the,
so
the best is
indisposed.
the best is the manufacturers who decide to contact you that one time of the year to come to their booth. Like you
Mhm.
couldn't get any press information from them, but hey, it was slow, and now you want coverage. That's, I mean, again, that it has to be prioritized. I'm not going to ad lib do that. I'll say one thing that's interesting is, so I'll tell you this story. I'll name a name in this case. So Phil Zengi of Debonair Cigars,
Mhm.
longtime friend and supporter of the shows.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
I went to his booth, and he was busy. He was very busy. So I said, hey, no problem, Phil. Well, I'll catch you later. But what I did is I snapped all the photos. I had all the information on his cigars, and I did an article. I did the Debonair Booth article, right? So he messages me like about a week later. He's like, Coop, you never come and see me. Like, what? I said, Phil, did you see that I covered your booth? He's like, no. And I said, hey, he's like, oh, thanks, man. He goes, I'm sorry I couldn't meet with you. I said, no, that's why, we get the information. We gave you the coverage. I know you well enough where if I had to call you with a question, I can do that. So it worked out really well in that case. So, I mean, that's what we do when people get busy. It doesn't mean we don't cover your booth. Unless we have to learn about you for the first time, that's a different story. That could hurt it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And it's tough. I know plenty of people who have said like, "Oh, people will say something to me like, oh, you didn't come to my booth," or like, and it's like, well, at the same time, this kind of goes with what we're
Oh,
saying
there are
too. It's
people
like,
who get butthurt if you don't go to their booths too. I mean,
and it's like, listen, it's not because I avoided you, but like, I came and I still got the coverage. Maybe I didn't talk to you, but it's like I still got the coverage. Or maybe you don't make it to a booth, and it's like, listen, believe
yeah,
me, I wanted to come to your booth. There's so many booths there. I got to cover everyone. You know what I mean? And maybe I just didn't get to you. It's really hard to give everyone the time of day.
yeah,
And anyone who doesn't get it, it's not because you were snubbed. It's just because like there's just so much.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard to get everybody. So
There are several companies that I won't get to. I'll get the photos, I'll get stuff, but I'll have questions, and before we do the booth report, um, they'll be contacted. So I'm not worried about that. If I know them, I'll contact them. I'll get the questions. So I think the approach we've taken now with this, and I think the approach you're taking, it's kind of the way to do it. It's all a time management game. Because it's really only, I think you really only have about 25 hours total to cover these companies. So it's 7 hours each day, the first 3 days, and then 4 hours the final day. So it's not a lot of time.
yeah, no, I agree. It's hard. I mean, yeah, there's after hours, and there's time after hours too when maybe you get to talk to someone. Maybe it's not in the booth. Maybe you still get to talk to them.
Yep.
You can maybe make up some ground there.
Yep.
But you just, yeah, you got to do the best you can. That's all I can say. You got to do the best you
Yep.
can. Just
I
be
agree.
prepared.
I agree.
If your game plan is like, well, we're just gonna fly out there and we'll just kind of sashay around and like, hey, Nick Perdomo, hey, how's it going? Oh, show me the new Amenso. All right, that's cool. Hey, let's go check out Tatawa. No, you need to go like you need to like for us, it's like we have the exhibit map where all the booths are, who's where, and it's like things are planned based on where things are. So it's like we're starting here. and we're gonna go this
You're
way,
you're
this way,
you're
this
even
way, this
you're
way,
ahead
this
of
way.
where I am even. Yeah.
That's how Nicole and I have planned it. You know what I mean? And some people are probably out there like, oh, this is so anal. It's like, well, you know, maybe for you, but for me, it's like I'm gonna do the best that I can, and the
Yeah.
best that I can is I make a science out of it, and I
Yeah.
do the best quality that I can
Yeah.
get. I don't just leave it up to chance. I know
Yeah.
where everybody is. I know how big certain booths are. I know
Right.
that those booths are going to take more time than others. I know that there's certain people that I need to make time with because either I know that there's something, they have a lot of releases, or whatever it is, there's a reason why I
Mm.
need to spend more time with someone versus someone else. It's not because anyone's like not as special. It's just it's all about the amount of coverage that certain people have and your time management. Um, there's something else that I wanted to ask you about. It's kind of a little off topic. It's a little
Uh-huh.
kind of out there. It's just kind of me just being like thinking about stuff too much.
Mhm.
But I don't know, it might be an interesting topic. So this has come up before with other people that I've had conversations with, and it's not really something that's ever bothered me, but I just want to bring it up just because of the sake of conversation. I'm curious to see how
Okay.
you feel. Let's talk about, and again, and I'm not knocking anyone when I say this because again, it doesn't bother me. I think it's cool. Like I like presentation and
Yeah.
packaging and all that, but cigars that have just too much on them, like bands. Um, like there's people out there who hate the secondary band, or they have the main band, the secondary band, then there's a foot band. And they don't like how there's all these bands all over it. They just want to like just smoke it. And like I know Ed Sullivan is an advocate of that. He hates secondary bands, and God forbid there's a third band. He's like, oh, I'm gonna take off this one, and I gotta take off this
Mhm.
one. I know that's like a little pet peeve of people. I was curious how you felt about that. Because the reason why it even came to my mind is because I was looking at the Rocket Patel 60 that will be debuting at the show. And if you look at that cigar, I mean, from here all the way down is covered in bands. And I think it looks cool, but like I know those people out there who like that just annoys them for whatever
Yeah.
reason. What is
Yeah.
your stance on like all the cigars that have too many bands?
Um. Yeah. So I don't like unbanded cigars, and I don't like footer only bands. Right. So I like
Okay.
having a way that and I'll kind of show this. This is kind of I'm smoking this, and everyone should see it. It's got the blue and white Asylum band, so people know I'm smoking a big time Tommy. So I like the fact that you can identify a cigar. Now, I have seen some cigars with some massive bands on it, but there's ways you can be smart about it too. Like, so I think it dresses the cigar really nice. Case in point, the example I'll bring up is La Serena cigars. When they came out with the La Serena back about 10 years ago, there was this big band that covered most of the cigar, right? So when you took it off, the cigar became unbanded, right? I hated that, right? Because now it's again, I like having the identity of what you're smoking. So what they did is that they actually got feedback from a lot of people on that. They put a secondary band under it, right? And then you pull off the big band and it had a regular cigar ring around it, right? And people knew what you were smoking, right? And I think that's a smart idea with it. So in the case of some of these cigars, I like the fact they're dressed up, but I think they should be easily removed, and there should be still something on the cigar to help you identify what you smoke. I think it's important. I think it's important that you want people, if you're a manufacturer, and you see someone else smoking a cigar, you want to know what they're smoking. So,
Yeah,
but
that's a
I
good point
get
of
it.
view.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I also think the presentation really looks nice sometimes on a cigar. So if you dress it up with with some tissue paper, or a couple of extra bands, I'm okay with it. Once you get beyond like this, I think 3 bands are enough though, right? So three is the absolute limit at that point, right? And here's the thing: you could have a brand band, you could have a line band as your secondary band, but you may need that footer band to protect the footer. So it does protect the footer from Frank. So
Like you were
there,
talking about the La Serena. There's another cigar that actually has that. I'm sure you're aware of the Psycho 7, where it has the,
yeah,
the prescription label like all the way around.
yep, yep,
But when you take that off, there is a small, standard band
small
at the
band,
top
exactly,
that
same
still
deal they
says
had
Psycho
with it.
7, which is interesting.
I
To
love that. I
me,
love that
I love it.
because
I think it looks cool,
yeah,
especially like not only just like for me, but like in a retail shop, like I know a lot of people like there's a long debate about this. I'm not starting this debate. But there's the
Yeah.
like, oh well, like the band doesn't, you shouldn't buy a cigar based on how it looks, the presentation. Well,
Yeah.
maybe so, but at the same time, there's a lot of people where that's, you dress up the cigar and it catches your eye, and then
Mhm.
you're like, ooh, what's that?
Yeah.
Presentation wise, when you see all those, you're like, oh wow, what's this? And people just, oh, that looks cool. Some people
See,
smoke it just because they're like, oh, I like that huge ass
yeah.
band on it. That looks so cool. It's a sale, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's all in the marketing. And like I said,
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me. I could care less. Like if it has a lot of bands, like I'll just take them
Ah,
off. It doesn't annoy me. But I know that there's
yeah.
people out there who it bothers them.
Look, if I'm spending $200 on a box of cigars, I better present nice, in my opinion. So
Yeah,
that's
I
just
mean
my
that's
opinion.
like, you look at,
It,
like first of all, like Perdomo, like Nick Perdomo has great presentation. His boxes are nice. They have the shelf talkers in them. When you go into a store and you see them
yeah.
and they're open and on display, that's a great presentation.
Yeah.
And when you go to Perdomo in Miami, they have
Yep.
the sample
The,
showroom,
yep.
which Nick explained to me. It was like, because they have a humidor where they sell stuff out of the store, but then they have the wall. Most people probably seen it. Nick has posted pictures and done stuff in front of it, but there is a wall that has all of their boxes open with the shelf talkers out, all on display with the entire collection. That's a beautiful presentation. So
Yeah.
yes, I think that that's cool, and it's important too. Um, but and you're right. When you spend certain amounts of money on certain cigars, yeah, they better present.
Right.
You get a box of Atabey, and it comes in the lacquered box with the push button
Right.
latch, and it opens, and it's got the chrome logo with the, there's people out there like, oh, that's a bunch of bullshit. It's like maybe so, but if you paid $800 for that box, would you rather just come in like the rough unfinished with the sticker on it, like some of the like a
Yeah.
Sancho Panza?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
And yeah, no, it's true. And I've been long advocate that I hate Mazos. I hate craft paper bundles. If someone wanted to, I think that one of the best things, get rid of craft paper bundles. They're terrible, right? Because they don't display well. Like you can argue that a cigar box you can't see the cigars inside, but a craft paper bundle you can't see the cigars without ripping the whole bundle in a humidor.
Yeah.
Um, and to me, I don't know. I hear all this. I get that packaging costs money. I get that packaging delays stuff. But I can tell you, like I've seen, look, Davidoff's a sponsor of mine. I don't like the craft paper bundles they put on a lot of that stuff. This is Davidoff. I mean, would you put a Rolex in a craft paper bundle?
No.
That's kind of what Davidoff's positioned as, right? So I don't think they should be doing that. That's just my opinion on it. Doesn't mean their cigars aren't good. Their cigars could be fantastic, but to me, if I'm going to spend $300 on a 25 Davidoff cigars, right? I want something. I want something presentable on it, not a craft paper bundle with a sticker.
Like even like Liga Privada, right? Here's an interesting example. So, like Liga has that kind of simple looking wooden box
Mhm.
brand Undercrown too. With the branded, burned, lettering and all that, and then it has the stripe going down it too. Looks very simplistic, but at the same time, it's a very interesting look because it's
Yeah,
it's it's simple, but it just got this character to it
yeah.
where you're like, that's nice. It's not like
And you
it's
open the
just
box.
like
Yeah,
you open the
you
box,
open the
they're all in there.
beautiful
They
inside.
have the ribbon
Yeah,
on them, the label on
yep.
the lid. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, like a number.
No
What's a
problem.
number nine Toro going for? What are those like 320, 350 for a box?
Probably. Yeah, I
Actually,
would
no.
say
I
it's
think
a
they're even more. I think they're maybe like 360 for a box of Toro Liga number nines. So yeah, it's not a cheap box.
no.
It's not a lacquered box, but it still has that character to it where it's like, this is nice.
Yeah, but like I said, if you're gonna do craft paper bundles, there are other ways you could display them in a humidor. Like you could have trays made up and stuff like that, and you refill them that way. I don't have a problem with that. But if I'm taking something home as a consumer in general, I don't want to be taking home the craft. I'm not really a fan of. I was just telling you, we are cleaning out my cigar room, and I have a ton of boxes, and you know what? I didn't throw out a lot of those boxes because they're works of art, and at some point I'll figure out what to do with them. So
Oh yeah, I agree. There's certain boxes where I'm like, I just feel bad throwing it away. I feel like it's such a waste. Like I finished a box at Atabey Delirios, the Robustos. and I wanted to save the box, and I think it got thrown away. I'm not naming names, but I think people can figure that one out. And
I
I
have
was
one of
like,
those. I have one of those canisters. They're beautiful glass canisters.
oh,
I
you
love them.
can't throw them away.
No,
I know someone who has one of the old the Atabay jars, and when he was done with it, he has his dog treats in there. It's like, yeah, like maybe, yeah. Okay, some people are like, oh, what the hell? But it's either that or you could have thrown it away.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like he reused it, and it looks nice in his
yeah.
kitchen. You're
No,
right. They're works of art.
yeah.
You don't want to throw it away.
Southern Drawer did some melamine jars a few years ago, and they were great. And they
Mm.
sealed. They had a vacuum seal on them, and they weren't expensive, but they looked nice. And um, the problem again with jars is you can't see them. That's my only. But look, that's something that's very nice, like an Atabay jar or a Southern Drawer. So I get that. A paper bundle, you rip it and you're done. It's
Yeah,
I
I know
don't
what
know.
you mean.
I don't get the appeal of it. Yeah.
It's one of those conversations that they feel like it gets brought up from time to time. It's like, well, it doesn't matter about the packaging. It doesn't matter about that. The cigars
Yeah.
are good to smoke it. It's like, yeah, I
Exactly.
know the cigars are good, but it's like that's where the geek factor comes out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
maybe to the average consumer they don't care. But maybe it's because
I,
we're, you know what, Coop? You know what it is? We're too invested in cigars. Like for us,
I
everything
know.
has to be
I
like, you know what I mean? Like the guy who goes in like once a month and gets like a bundle, he's like, I don't give a shit. But like to us, it's like, no,
I I I
we're too
I
close.
I I lit up Mike Herklots last year when he was still at Nat Sherman when they did the TAA cigar in a black paper bundle, and I went, "This is not what a TAA cigar should be. They should not be in bundles. This is supposed to be the best of the best, and you need to bring your A game with packaging, or you shouldn't have a TAA cigar." He wasn't happy with me on that. I can tell you that, but I had to say what I say. A TAA cigar should not be in a bundle. This is supposed to be an elite collection of cigars. Now, I think I know why they did it because obviously they were winding down and they wanted to get this cigar out. So I kind of understand now in the grand scheme of things, but I didn't know that at the time.
You're probably right on that because knowing Michael Herklotz, he's got too much style. Not too much like it's bad. Like he's got a lot of style. He knows style. You know what I mean? Like for him to put out in a paper bundle, it's like it's shocking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael Herklotz, I imagine, beautiful box. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's him. Michael knows how to make stuff look good. You know what I mean? But you're probably right about that. That's probably what it is. And if that's the answer, that makes sense. I mean, why invest why invest in these nice boxes when like it's not going to matter in a year anyway? So I do get it. Yeah.
I get it. And like I said, I didn't know that at the time. It was months later when they announced they were shutting down the company. So I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone felt like an asshole. No, I'm just kidding.
I stand by it. I still stand by it. They shouldn't have did the TA cigar. That's
I know.
my opinion. Yeah. Save it. That was
It's yeah, the whole the packaging thing is look like I'll end it on it doesn't bother me. I like good packaging. I appreciate it. Am I disappointed when I get something that's like just cellophane bundle? Yeah, but like I'm not gonna cry about it.
I'd rather have, but I'd rather have the. I still would rather have the cello. I believe.
I do like boxes, also because maybe this doesn't apply for everyone, but I think you're in this boat too. Like I have cabinets like that are meant for boxes. You know what I mean? Like, I know not everyone has that. Like I'm not trying to like brag, whatever. Like I'm very invested in cigars, so I have a lot of them and I have a lot of storage for them. But I have cabinets, so I like to put my boxes in there, organizational for display purposes. Like I think it's nice. If you don't have that and you have just a box humidor, like obviously it doesn't matter because you can't put the box in there. Or if you have like a cooler door, you can only put so many boxes in there. I get that. So, but for me, like I have bigger cabinets, like I like them, I like to have them all in there. But at the end of the day, like I don't get like pissed, you know what I mean? If I don't have it, but
exactly.
I know what you're saying. I don't think it bothers me as much, but like I can appreciate your point of view on that. But anyway, I didn't mean to turn it into a whole thing. It was one thing that I noticed. See, this is what happens. Like I see one thing, and it turns into this whole. But I noticed that, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, wow, like that, like the Rocket Patel 60 looks really cool. And I'm like, I just like the presentation. Like I'm like, it's a lot of bands on it, and I'm like, but like I don't care, whatever. But it looks really cool. And I just know that there's someone out there who's like, oh, I gotta like take the cigar and I gotta like peel them all off, and then like there's gonna be people moaning and groaning about it.
Yeah.
And I feel I don't know. I kind of was expecting you to be like, I can't stand that, but I know Ed Sullivan,
No.
Bald as Ed Sullivan, because I remember like we would do the
Uh,
Ashholes, like, and we'd do a cigar that had a secondary band. He'd already be like, I'm already dropping a point. There's too many bands
you
on there.
can't. Yeah.
He hates
uh,
secondary bands. He's like, I just needs one band. There's when the smoke gonna be done. Um, or even the people who like they light a cigar and they take the band off right away, and a lot of the times they rip the wrapper, and then they complain, oh, the
yep.
band ripped the wrapper, and it's like, well, not for
Mm-hmm.
nothing.
Yep.
But the good practice is you smoke the cigar, and as you get closer, the glue softens, and then you can take it off safely.
Yep. Yep.
Someone who's been very vocal about this has been Nick Perdomo, who he says that the way you smoke Perdomo cigars, the way he wants you to, is you smoke the cigar, and when you get close and it softens, then you can take the band off.
Yep.
Take it off at the beginning, like, and I get it. Some people, like, what I will touch on, I know there's an exception to the rule where there's certain people who, like, I know this from personal experience, who maybe represent a brand, but they want to smoke something else and they don't want to be seen smoking something else. So
I
they
get
can,
that. I totally
I
get
get
that.
that. I get that. You're right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That I understand that. Yeah.
if you're a guy who just sitting at home and you're just ripping the bands off and then you're complaining about it, it's like, well, I mean,
Yep. Yep.
I don't have to.
Exactly.
See, this is how the conversation gets away from us. We get
Yep.
all ripped out on packaging.
Yep.
Anyway, that's all I had in my list of notes for this show. In terms of me,
Yep.
I don't know
I
if
had
you had
no. I
anything
had
else.
my. Those were my two things I had. So
You had your grievances.
I had my. Well, I had my scenario, and yeah, I had my little grievances. So yeah, I mean, the next step is we're getting ready for the show. Which it's 2 weeks. We'll already have completed the first day of the trade show, so it is coming fast and furious right now.
2 weeks from today. What time is it? 10:29.
So we'll already be off the trade show floor because it'll be 7:30 by then.
Yeah, we'll be probably at dinner and then going to the after hours social time.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
coming.
Yep. I mean, I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna have most of my team there, minus Dave, who's in Australia. But so I'm pretty excited about that, because it's the first time we'll all get together. We're all staying under one roof, so that will be fun. And I guess we'll probably be uploading videos by this time to this cloud or something.
Yeah, it's coming quick. And you know what? It's, as we talked about, not to beat a dead horse, it's all in preparation. And we'll get all the information out to all of you as it comes. We'll do the best we can to get it as fast as we
Yep.
can and as accurate as we can. But
Yep.
I think that's gonna.
I'm spending a lot of time with this right now. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
But I think that's really gonna do it for spare notes this week.
Yep.
I think that's all we
Alright.
got.
Nice.
This was a good episode. I know that you had some things you wanted to get off your chest, which is good.
Yep.
I didn't really have anything bother me, but I had some interesting things I wanted to talk about that I didn't get to on the shows
Yeah,
this week.
I mean, there'll be always a gripe and stuff, and so we have one more. I know we have the Jukebox episode airing Monday, and then we're doing our virtual expo on Thursday. We have 13 manufacturers lined up for that, and that will be the last primetime show going into the trade show. I should have lied. There may be a second Jukebox episode coming before the trade show, so I think we're gonna do another one next week. We talked about so there'll be, and so yeah, we got. And I know you have a show coming up.
We're going to be doing our shows all the way through. So we don't have a guest on for I think a month now. We don't have anyone coming on next week or during PCA. We will be live from Las Vegas. Something might come up. Maybe we'll have someone with us, but as of right now, we don't have plans to have anyone on. Just kind of show coverage stuff, and then when we get back, I think we're just going to keep that as a post game show. And then I believe our first guest after that is going to be I want to say Terrence Riley, but I might be wrong. I know Terrence Riley will be coming on the Smoking Tobacco show. I think he is technically our next guest. Yes. As
Yep.
as we announced this week, the Smoking Tobacco Show will be moving back to Thursdays
Yep.
at 7 p.m. Eastern. So our first guest will be Terrence Riley on July 22nd. So yeah, next few weeks I didn't want to have anyone on because there's too many other things that are going to be happening.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're going to be with that. So uh, that's really all I got. That's all I got.
Uh,
Unless there's anything else you want to say before we wrap up.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right, guys. Well, this has been another episode of the Spare Notes series between Matt Tobacco and William Cooper. And we will see you guys next time. Take care.
Take care, everybody.